These guys are a lot smarter than I am. They know the numbers inside and out. I'm just here for the conversation. Jim, you said Florida does not surprise you tonight going to the former president.
No, I don't. I don't. For a while, they were making a real push in Florida, but I think that kind of fizzled towards the end.
Are there any surprises right now? I believe Mississippi, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Missouri.
No.
Looks like they're all going toward the former president.
And I'm not surprised on that.
Dave?
I think what you're seeing right now is exactly how all the maps started to show themselves out. Again, we're going to be looking at 7 states,
Right.
7 major states right now. There's not going to be any really major surprises, I think, coming out of that. It's the thing, too, to look at when you're looking at the map, it's going to look kind of weird to you from what you're used to when you're looking at an electoral map, because what you're seeing right now on that map is kind of how the vote is leaning or going at any given point in time. So they're not solid yet. So if you look at the map and you see a solid red or you see a solid blue, that doesn't mean that it's been called yet. You got to look at the vote totals and whether or not those numbers are checked, because this is part of the process. We do this every election night. We talk about what's going on so that you are informed there at home. And as more results come in, I think we're really going to start seeing what plays out in some of the local races, because those are going to be as important sometimes, if not more so, than what goes on the national front.
And I don't know if Wade, if you can pop this map up, the U.S. presidential race, the map that we have. Want to let our viewers know, you see something shaded blue, that doesn't mean that it is actually gone to Harris. If it's shaded red, it doesn't mean that it's actually gone to the former president, but it's leaning their way, right?
That's the temperature of the vote count at the moment. The only thing to really look at here, folks, is the numbers there on the left-hand side of your screen. So Donald Trump right now, 95 electoral votes have been called for Donald Trump thus far, 35 for Harris. But folks, it's early in the night, so go ahead and pop the popcorn, get some snacks out, and get ready, because we've got a long night ahead of us taking a look at this map.
And as you look at the map, Dr. Shaw, any surprises so far tonight?
No. Again, I was surprised that we're doing it this way of shading it contingently.
As we're talking, I hate to interrupt, as we're talking, Texas went back to red.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, but no surprises. This is for all intents and purposes, this is part of the map that we saw in 2020 and we've seen in previous years. Again, only those 7 states, with a few additions here and there, come in and out.
Yeah. And so when you're thinking about this and how this all plays itself out, it's most likely not going to be till well after midnight before we even get an inkling of where things are actually going to be going, because the country, and we've talked about this, we were talking about this as we were getting ready to come on the air, is so closely divided right now. There's such a 50-50 split in so many areas of the space of the country. And I think when you think about that, it's either we've all kind of gotten to this middle, or we're living way out here on the edges. But it's kind of been a polarizing election season.
Right.
And so when you look at the map and it's going back and forth, just understand, as different areas of the country, different counties within states for that matter, start putting their poll numbers in, and those numbers get entered, those colors on the map are going to change. The number on the left-hand side of your screens are the ones that really matter. But we were talking about it early, gentlemen. We were talking about Georgia, okay? So when we think about Georgia, you've got a lot of rural Georgia, and I'm going to change it to the island instead of the blob of Atlanta. So you got a 4-county region of Atlanta,
Thank you.
which is predominantly a Democratic stronghold.
Right.
That area, that 4-county area, Cobb, Fulton, DeKalb, and Douglas. Those 4 counties are very strongly Democratic counties. And so when you have strong Democratic counties, that population is so centered right there that it can actually outvote the rest of the state.
But let me add in. It depends on, does that island have the same dimensions as 2020, or does it even expand a bit?
Exactly.
Given the population.
Atlanta's expansion. Exactly.
That's right.
And so I think when you look at that, you have to think too about population growth, what's been changing.
Right.
We were talking about this before. Think about what's happened in South Carolina over the last 2 decades. We've grown in population by more than 2 million.
Correct.
And so you've got a lot, JR, we talked about this before, you got a lot of folks that have moved into South Carolina. You've got a lot of growth. In Horry County, from 2018 to 2022, the voter turnout doubled. So the number of people who are coming into South Carolina, they're coming in, and a lot of them are bringing in Republican votes. And you take a look. We were looking at Clarendon County just a little while ago. Clarendon County, 100% of the votes in, and it's a county that swings to Trump. I'm surprised by that. Are you?
I am totally surprised by Clarendon County, which was always been a majority black county, a majority Democratic county. I'm sure John Land is somewhere having to talk
Probably.
what happened.
Senator
in
Land, you
County.
can put the glass down for a moment. We're going to talk for just a second. But you think about what has come into South Carolina.
Yeah.
You've got Volvo that's right there, and I don't know if we can pull that map up that shows it, but you think about the area that is around Volvo there on the Dorchester, Berkeley County line on the way to Charleston. If you've driven to Charleston, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
So that has a population center that's kind of radiates out from there because you've got people who've got to work. And the radiating out of that population has changed the complexion, politically at least, of Clarendon County. That's interesting.
If we can use Clarendon County as an example, though, I don't know if we can get that map back up. 100% of the votes have been counted in Clarendon County tonight. But if Clarendon County, which has been a Democratic stronghold for many years, Jim, can switch and vote for the Republican presidential candidate, what does that say for other areas across the country?
Well, you may see that happening in other areas across the country as well. We're so divided now, we're polarized. Is
Right.
What it amounts to at this
Yeah,
point.
correct.
And people are here and there, and they just can't decide what to do until the very last minute. So where I thought that we would have a runaway for Harris earlier here is not happening. But I hope that will change as we get night goes on.
So when you're taking a look at this map that's on the screen right now, folks, as you're watching there at home, this is kind of how the counties are leaning at this moment. There are very
That's
few
important to
counties.
explain.
Clarendon County is the only county right now, at least as far as we know, that has 100% of the votes reported. So that's what happened in 1 out of 46 counties in South Carolina. Richland County is never going to turn red. It's just not going to.
I need to, as we speak of Republicans,